Now, how did you catch that fish?
We noodled him.
You did what?
Yeah, we noodled him.
You didn't noodle him.
He was over on that other bank, and there were 2 or 3 currents between where I was casting and the bank, but the bank was still. And so I cast in a few times and didn't quite get it into still water, and finally got a good drift into still water, and he hit it.
That's hard across the fast current.
Oh, it's tough. He's been working very hard. That's like the second one he's got. We're watching the fish rise. We can see him over there, but there's all this fast water between where he has the fish, so the mending problem is terrible. But I wouldn't stick with it that hard. I'd just say this is too hard to fish. I'd go somewhere else. He's been sticking with it.
No, he's a stick to it.
He's been sticking with it. He's just constantly mending over there. He's getting just a few seconds at a time, but he's caught some pretty nice fish on top.
Yeah.
So what were you using? What fly?
That was on a shucker. We've got this tremendous midge hatch today, and we've been catching everything on these little, midges with shucks hanging off of them.
Yeah.
And we've had some with the typical no-see-em type.
So I took the water temperature is 48. Air temperature is probably less than that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a high of 41 today.
And it's March the what?
March 15th today.
March 15th, middle of the day.
March.
The Ides of March. No, beware the Ides of March. Okay. All right. That's good.
Great.
Well, Jim and Dan are guiding today. We have our friend Jim Nelson out there fishing. It's on the Provo River. He's got one on. We'll just show you the background there. When you get ready to fish in the wintertime with the midges and so forth, you notice there's still some snow on the ground. It's March. You want to start out fishing closer to the shore, even fish from the shore if you can get a cast to the fish. We're on the Provo River in the middle of Provo, just above Deer Creek Reservoir, and there's a lot of small midges hatching, and there's a lot of fish coming up. They're small to medium-sized fish. The midges are so small that the big fish aren't coming out for them. Not in this fast section anyway. Well, Jim has worked his way out there, and he's got a complicated situation here. You've got a current in front of him, a current coming in around on the opposite side. The fish are rising there in a seam, and that's a difficult thing. So he's casting there, and Dan's helping him. You notice when he finishes his cast, he moves the rod upstream. That's called a reach cast. Jim wanted to work today on his dry fly fishing, dry fly presentation. He's a really good nymph fisherman. And he wanted to fine-tune his technique. Dan and I, we're guides. We guide some, but we're really teachers. That's what we do. And Dan's out there just talking to him. He got one there. But, this is about the size of the fish that we're catching there. Some browns and some rainbows. They were rising nicely, though. If you want to, a lot of people have trouble. They wonder who Jim and Dan are and so forth, and where we are. Well, Dan Roberts, he and I, Jim O'Neill, we're in Utah. I live in Provo, Utah, and Dan lives up in Heber Valley, but close to the Provo River. And we do guide. If you want to find us, some people say, we can't find you. Well, you can find us at Dan's website. It's backcountrychronicles.com. And if you want to learn how to catch fish in the Provo, that's what we do. It's not all about how many fish you catch or how big they are, although both of those are kind of important. The main thing is to get out in the beautiful surroundings like this and enjoy the whole situation. And we were having a good time today catching trout on midges, and it was difficult fishing, not big fish, but difficult because they were very selective. And we saw birds, the geese flew over, we saw muskrats and so forth. Here Jim Nelson is casting across. This is really difficult. Casting across and then does the reach min. You don't get a very good presentation this way. You do what you can. You cast across and mend. You do a reach cast and you cast across and mend and so forth. No reason to do this except for that's where the fish are rising, you know. So what can you say? Couldn't fish it from the other side because it really brushy and deep and so forth. You couldn't get below. That's just the way it is. You missed a lot. He missed them. Notice now, one of the things we had to work with Jim about is he's used to casting long casts and hooking big fish and with bigger flies, and he strikes really hard. So we had to work on that. When you're fishing midges, you just want to come tight on the fish. Now we've decided to switch over here. We've been catching the fish on the midges, but Jim wanted to see what it was like to run a nymph rig down through here. So this is a bounce rig. He's working through the same area. This particular day, the fish were rising, but of course you can almost always catch more underneath, but it's a lot more fun to catch them on top. There, he missed another one there. It said we'd moved over a little bit and fished the edge of this current to his left there. Notice that, I don't know if you can see the float very well, but it's jiggling along, bouncing along a little bit. Dan was getting after us, though. He was on the camera. He's getting after us because he said we didn't have enough weight, he said. But we caught a fish after we added some more weight. Now we don't use the monster nets that some guys use, the big long handle nets. They're handy and so forth, but we like the little nets. Just little nets. We just do what we do. Show you this one here. Whoop, gets away. Don't grab them. Just cradle them in your hands and lift them up. You wanted to fish on top today? Did you manage?
Yeah, we managed.
Not just manage. You got where you were doing a long cast with a reach min across the current.
Yeah, we caught a lot of fish on top.
I had to ask you. You didn't even know what it was, and you knew how to do it instinctively. so we caught some rainbows.
Yeah, caught a few browns.
Got some browns.
Yeah.
On the midges.
Yeah.
But as Dan said, when we went to the bounce rig with the sow bark, it was over. That's too easy, but it's not as much fun as catching them on top.
Catching them on top's the name of the game.
Yeah.
But it's fun, when you need a fix, nymphing's okay too.
That's right. Dan's standing over there good as he said, put more weight. He says, you're not bouncing.
No, that's what I tell all the rookies. All these rookie guys we have out here, it's like, no matter how much fun we have standing in this cold water, if you're not bouncing, you're not fishing.
And then he told us to put on the sow bug.
That's right.
And the first one we caught was on the sow bug.
Of course it is, because I mean that's there's more sow bugs in here. As many midges are in here, I bet you most of those trout, 95% of the body, the weight in their belly is sow bugs.
That's how they got that.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised.
Okay, well, we had a good day. We're going to call it a day.
Excellent day.